All right, I'm going to read the first chapter of Banjos in Babylon. It's called Didgeridoo. It all happened in 2000 in the shaded pines of the California Music Festival. I had some time off from the road and I decided I need a weekend of musical therapy. You know what I mean, when you head out to a beautiful spot with mountains and rivers and amazing hiking trails, and then spend the next 4 days in a lawn chair with a beer in your hand talking about how beautiful all those things are. And of course, focusing on the one particular form of cardio exercise that we like, jamming. Yes, that delightful pastime in which we take a perfectly fine and pristine folk song and proceed to systematically hammer it into submission. What fun! The guitars and banjos hold the song down while the other fiddles and other screechy perpetrators administer painful monkey punches and wedges. No song is safe from this onslaught. I've seen stately waltzes reduced to a whimpering puddle, nimble fiddle tunes begging for mercy, and even giants like Sweet Home Alabama or Hotel California mangled beyond all recognition. Jamming, or as my Nashville cohorts like to call it, pickin' and grimacing. I rolled into my campsite with my bass player and partner in crime, Johnny Four Fingers, and we began the ancient ritual of bro camping. Dudes with tents, musical instruments, and beer working with smooth precision to build a temporary micro-community. Approximately 6 songs and a dozen cold ones later, we were done setting up and ready to pick and have another cold one. What a great feeling. You lean back in your outdoor lazy boy and survey a sea of tents and happy faces. This is how things were intended to be. The magic of jamming is that it's not just for the pleasure of those in the jam, but also for the new friends that will flock to your camp and follow you through the gates of hell if necessary. And flock they did. 2 songs in, we had a herd of admirers listening in awe, and it was only midnight. We landed the next song with a flourish, and an adorable little grandmother wobbled up to me. "You know," she said, searching for words, "I never really cared for music much, but I like what you do." Thanks, ma'am," I said, gloating over her backhanded compliment. "You bet, sonny," she rasped, winking. Was she flirting with me? Befuddled, I turned to Johnny. So, hey, you got another tune?" Johnny was oblivious, involved in a deep conversation with the youngest girl in the audience, a spry 60-something. Before I could say dog my cats, we had a flute player, 2 more guitar pickers, and someone with a washtub bass. It thumped furiously, sounding like a boxer's hands landing tired blows on a jello-y midriff. Let it be known that starting up a jam at a music festival is kind of like chumming shark-infested waters. Before long, the waters will be red with the blood of all that is pure and good in music, and the feeding will continue until all the ice chests are empty. All of a sudden, like a beast from the depths, we heard it. It was a sound hard to define, and it was coming from the edge of the camp, like a cross between a tuba and the moan of a dying wildebeest. It assailed our ears with a droning somewhere between C and C flat. Johnny looked like a man who had just seen his own death. "Didgeridoo," he rasped. I grabbed his arm and shook him. "You know what to do, soldier," I bellowed. "Circle in." With the determination of passengers leaping from a burning bus, we herded the jam into a tight circle. It was the only way. Eyes wide, the jammers followed us in shock. They knew huddling in was the time-honored defense against the sudden appearance of a jam's most feared natural predator, the didgeridoo. Half trombone, half flute, and half sea monster, the didgeridoo has been stalking its prey since time began. Our jam pressed close like gazelles sensing the presence of a cheetah. The didgeridoo circled in the distance, just out of reach of the flickering Coleman lanterns. I sang at the top of my lungs, and suddenly the last verse was finished. "Okay, boys, here we go," I roared, waving my banjo in the air like a bayonet and kicking the air. "Let's take her out." And with a last triumphant twang, the song was done. The didgeridoo sputtered in confusion, belched once more, and then was silent. A cricket began in the distance. We heard the didgeridoo snort and paw the ground in frustration, and then gallop off into the night. And then we erupted in cheers and high fives, happy as rescued coal miners. "We did it! We darned well did it!" chortled a grizzled mandolin player, throwing his hat into the air. Our lead guitarist dropped his guitar and proceeded to do 30 push-ups. Johnny tore his shirt off, leapt onto the table, and flexed. I sank back into my chair, pale as a ghost, and reached for a cold beer. My life paraded slowly past me as I held it up to my lips with a shaking hand. Yes, I said, we did it, boys. We flippin' did it. And that was when the festival director cantered up in his golf cart and gazed upon us with his Gandalf-like eyes. You have done well, my people, he intoned. By what name does this jam go? It hit me like a bolt of lightning. I stood up straight, looked the director square in the eye, and said, we, sir, are Jam-Along. I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, there are 26 more stories in the book. Click the links, pick it up, and enjoy reading.